I love baseball cards. Got 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em, need 'em, need 'em, got 'em, got 'em, need 'em.
Welcome to another episode of Card Show Pickups with Remember the Great Sports. Just recently went to a card show, spent some few dollars, not a whole lot of money. Everything that I'm going to show you was either $20 or less that I picked up at this card show. Some of the prices were marked down a little bit because I bundled some prices on some autographs, but nothing super huge or fantastic that I found at this. But there were a few things that I thought were really neat and I wanted to add to my collection. So we're just going to jump right into this. And my favorite basketball player I've mentioned before is David Robinson. This was something I've had my eye on for quite some time. The Target exclusive Funko Pop, the Dream Team version of David Robinson, and I've been watching on it online and stuff like that, and just never really pulled the trigger. And you know, I saw this on the guy's table, and he wanted $20 for it, and I thought, well, you know, that's a little more than what I want to pay for it. I'd like to get a little cheaper than that. And so the guy was packing up his table at the end of the day, and I walked up to him and I said, "You can take one less Funko Pop home if you'll sell it to me for $15. And he's like, "Which one's that?" I said, "If you sell me the David Robinson for $15, I'll take it." And he said, "Sure." So he basically said, "Good, I don't have to pack this." And for $15, he sold it to me. And, you know, that's probably what it's worth. You know, if you factor in shipping and getting it mailed to me, you know, the risk of it getting damaged in the mail, because I've had a real long streak of bad luck when it comes to purchasing things on eBay that they show up damaged in the mail. I was looking at this in pretty decent shape sitting on his table, and I thought for $15, I've been wanting this for a long time, so I'm going to buy it. So wanted to start out the video with that one, and we're just going to push David up here to the top. He can keep watch over the entire video. So alright, so with David to the side, I guess we'll jump into some pretty cheap cards. This table I went through, this guy just had, I guess, junk for the lack of better terms, and everything was 25 cents, except he had a few things that were a little more than 25 cents. He had, you know, some case cards and stuff, so I went through his quarter cards, but he also had these box sets, and I'm a sucker for these box sets. So I grabbed this. This was actually only 50 cents. So I grabbed that for 50 cents out of his container or whatever. And I think I already have this set, and it's, you know, I'll hold the checklist up to you really quick here. You can see that there are some stars in there like Roger Clemens. You know, you got some Hall of Famers like Tim Raines, Mike Schmidt, Don Sutton, Alan Trammell, even got a Pete Rose in there. So, I mean, these are some pretty good cards for the era. And I know I most likely have this set, but I'm not sure. But when I opened it up and looked, I'm like, yeah, that set looks really familiar. I'm pretty sure I already have that. But I thought for 50 cents, why not? I'm a sucker for these box sets. I actually am thinking about maybe starting another video series featuring these on my channel, and I know other people have done that, so I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but at least share my collection of box sets like I've seen so many others do on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll go through that in detail. So the 25-cent cards, you know how on my channel I'm a pretty good fan of the triple cards. I found an 82 Topps Kent Herbeck, 81 Topps Mike Bodiger, and I actually have this entire card signed by everybody, but I bought another copy for a quarter. And here is the Angels version with Tom Bernansky on the card, and not too sure about these other two guys on there. I don't know if Scotty or Signs, or if Luis Sanchez is even possible to get. But I grabbed those for 25 cents each. I found a Mark Gubicza rookie card. I thought that was worth it. It's actually the traded rookie card, so needed that. I found a unique Sammy Sosa rookie, the classic board game rookie, for 25 cents. And last but not least, I found a Roy Firestone national promo. And I don't know if this has a lot of value to it. I'm going to, you know, definitely look at eBay and see what these are selling for. But I thought at minimum, maybe I could send that to Roy if it's not worth a lot and ask him to sign it. But this is an early convention piece from the National back in the early 1990s. You can see that back over here in this corner. So I thought for 25 cents, what the heck? So in total, I only spent $2 at this guy's table. So that's a pretty good stack for only $2. Now the next item that I got was this guy had 30 cards for $5. So they were 25 cents each, or 30 for 5. So I'm going to fly through these really fast, because what I basically did was buy a stack of Bowman draft prospect cards of guys that I think I might see, in person, something like that. So I just grabbed a stack like that. Like I said, I'm not going to show them all to you here, but I did get a couple other nice cards that just rounded out the number. I actually found an autograph of Sky Bolt in the box, and I pulled it out and I showed it to the dealer, and I said, "Is this autograph supposed to be in the 25-cent box?" He's like, "You can have it for a quarter. I don't care." And I said, "Okay. I'm not going to turn down an autograph for 25 cents. So Sky Bolt did have a brief stint in the major leagues, and he's still hanging on with somebody, I believe. But I thought for 25 cents, I'll take another autograph. Also, to round out the 30, I just grabbed, because I ran out of cards to grab, I grabbed a Carlton Hostess card, from back in the day. I grabbed a Jim Palmer, and I also grabbed a Johnny Bench Kellogg's. These were only 25 cents a piece, and I thought they were in decent shape. They're not mint, far from it, but for a quarter a piece for these 3 Hall of Famers, fair enough. And the guy's box, if you were looking for Hall of Famers, I mean, he had stacks of like 81 Donruss Carltons. You know what? I thought I had one more card. One second. It seems to have been misplaced, but I thought I had another vintage card that I was going to show you, and I can't find it at the moment. Well, that's a bummer. Must have got lost in the shuffle. Well, I did have one more vintage card I was going to show you in the mix here, but it seemed to have missed. Oh, there it is. And an 81 Donruss Ozzie Smith as a Padre. So the seller had a stack of 81 Topps, 81 Fleer, 81 Donruss, Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, Carl Yastrzemski, Goose Gossage, on down the list, for a quarter a piece. I just rounded out my numbers to get to 30, and these are the 4 that I landed on. So not a bad stack for $5. Hopefully we'll be able to get a few of these signed in person if I see the right person at the right time. Alright, so my second to last thing I'm going to share with you is I came to another table, and basically he said everything from this table over is $1. And I'm like, $1? He's like, yeah, anything. I just want to get rid of my stuff. So unfortunately I didn't have a lot of time to go through this guy's stuff as thorough as I wanted to. So I sat down and I went through a couple dollar boxes, and I thought, okay, I'll play that game. So everything I'm going to show you, it's kind of a mix. I've got some old stuff in here, and I've got some newer stuff in here of some baseball prospects. But we'll start off with what goes with my Funko Pop. This is my favorite player. Is a David Robinson insert. This is the Fleer Team Leaders insert that would come, one per rack pack or solo pack or whatever it was back in the day. But that's a pretty minty copy of that David Robinson Leaders card. So for only $1, I snagged it. Now, more importantly, I already kind of revealed there to you, I found some 51 Bowman singles, and these are in rough shape. These are not gradable. These are like 1 probably on a good day, but a 51 Bowman Marty Marion, so that's actually a 51 Bowman original, an Eddie Yost 51 Bowman, and again in pretty rough shape, and finally an Alvin Dark 51 Bowman. And all 3 of these guys were really, really good players for their era. They're not quite Hall of Famers. Alvin Dark was Rookie of the Year one year. These 2 were All-Stars, I believe, a couple times in their career. But very, very good players on 51 Bowman. And looking back at it, I probably should have bought a few more. They did have more 51 Bowmans there. I should have bought a few more, but now that's one of those card show regrets type of things. It's like, why didn't I just buy more of those? Why didn't I just buy them all? You know, they were $1 a piece. What the heck were you thinking? So, a couple others I got. These are kind of mixed. I got a Preston Wilson autograph. I got a Tyler Johnson autograph, who's a former Cardinal. We got Pete Hansen, who's a current Cardinal prospect autograph. A Luke Voigt jersey card. And again, there were jerseys and autographs. Looking back, I should have probably bought a few more. And some of the current era guys that go with Pete Hansen. I got a Cole Young Elite. A couple Cooper Jerpy Elite cards. Okay. This is a Steven Zobach Elite. And some thread cards of Colt Emerson, Daniel Susak, and Jacob Wilson. So all that was about $15 worth of stuff. So I was looking around the guy's table and looking back at it. I should have just grabbed 5 more 51 Bowmans. But I decided instead, hey, instead of grabbing more 51 Bowmans, I want some packs. So I decided to grab some packs that I really probably don't need. And the first one was a 1990 Donruss Cello pack. This was only $1, even though he had $2 on it. You look at the original price of $1.29, so I actually saved 29 cents in 2024 getting this pack, because that would have cost me $1.29 back in 1990. But I also found some 1988 Fleer cello packs, and I might open one of these or two of these up on my channel sometime. But there is a Jesse Orosco, Bobby Thigpen on back. Here is the infamous Tim Flannery card with the surfboard, with, I can't tell, Pat Perry on back. And this, sorry about the glare there. And this would have been a big deal back in the day, back in 1988. This is a Kevin Seitzer second year Royals card, still sealed. You got to remember, I'm in the Kansas area, so you see stuff like this floating around every now and again. This would have been a huge deal back when Kevin Seitzer was on the Royals back in 1988. And talking about the man of 1988, the guy that you collect, everybody collected, I don't care who you are. If you grew up in the mid-80s to early 90s, you collected this guy's cards. This would have been the ultimate gem, finding this on the top of a pack back in 1988. And that is a Jose Canseco card, 1988 Fleer, still sealed in the cellophane packaging. Looks like maybe a Kevin Bass or somebody on the back, but I'm going to keep this one sealed because holy crap, that brings back nostalgia. I've talked about how I'm a semi Jose Canseco fan, and I'm not a super huge fan of Jose Canseco like I am some other players from that era, but I respect how important Jose Canseco was to baseball back when I was growing up as a kid, and I love to add another Jose Canseco thing to the Jose Canseco collection, and I thought that was a cool, unique piece, for only $1. So all that was only $20, and I thought that was a nice mix of junk wax era to modern era thread patches to some autographs to even some 51 Bowmans. Alright, so the reason I didn't have as much money at that guy's table is because I went to this other table first, and right off the bat I spent $50. I dropped $50 down at this guy's table, and I asked the guy, how much is it for a card table? He's like, oh, $40 a table. I said, well, I'm going to pay for your first table, I guess, because he had 2 tables. And I've bought stuff from this guy in the past at this card show, so he recognized me, I recognized him, we had a good discussion, and I said, hey, I'm going to buy some autographs from you, let's see what we got today. So the start of it was the conversation over this guy. And this is a Warren Spahn Induction Day autograph, signed by Mr. Spahn himself. I believe there is a certificate that goes along with that one. Nope, not that one. But that's okay, because that looks like a pretty legit Warren Spahn autograph to me. So the guy's asking price for the deceased Hall of Famer, possibly the greatest left-handed pitcher, I'm saying possibly, the greatest left-handed pitcher to ever play baseball, Warren Spahn, for 20 bucks. And I'm like, for 20 bucks, dude, I'm going to take it. So then I started going through his album, and some other ones that popped out at me that were only $10 a piece is Hall of Famer George Kell. Okay, so George Kell was only 10 bucks. And I'm like, I know I have this already, but for $10, why not get another one? Second one that I got was Bill Verdon. And this is the National League Rookie of the Year in 1955. I've seen Bill Verdon in person. I've ridden him. He was a great TTMer, when he was still alive. The one thing I never got Bill Verdon to sign was an 8x10. So I saw this 8x10 for 10 bucks, and I'm like, well, even if I got Bill to sign that in person when he was still alive, it would have cost me $5 for the photo minimum. So I thought, if you only want 10 bucks for it, I'll take a signed Bill Verdon inscribed Rookie of the Year photo. So that was 10 bucks. So now we're up to $40, okay, for the 3 photos there. And finally, the most old reliable, probably if there was a Hall of Fame for signing autographs, this guy would be number 1 in the Hall of Fame for signing autographs. And that is Bullet Bob himself, Bob Feller, with a Hall of Fame inscription. Hall of Fame, inscription right there. He did have multiple Bob Fellers because, as the old saying goes, if you don't have a Bob Feller autograph, you didn't try really hard, because Bob Feller signed tons of autographs while he was still living. Even up to his last years, he was still signing autographs. And, Bob Feller used to, tour minor league ballparks and everything like that. And he had $15 on a photo, which is superbly fair of a price. But if you did the math, that's $55. I asked the seller, I said, will you knock $5 off if I take a Bob Feller and take 50 for all 4? So, if you're following me on that, I paid $50 for 3 Hall of Fame autographs and 1 Rookie of the Year autograph. So 4 signed 8x10s of legends of the game, hands down legends of the game. And I know there's tons of autographs of all 4 of these guys out there, but for 50 bucks, I added a couple more to my collection. So that was my big buy of the day, was the $50 worth of signed photos. So that's why my funds were a little more limited when I wound up going to that table, looking at the other cards. At that table with the stack of cards with the 51 Bowmans and the game used and everything, because I try to limit myself, otherwise I go a little crazy at card shows. I try to keep myself around the $100 mark. That way, that's a fair mutual thing that, when I talked to my wife, I said, hey, I only spent $100. So I kept my budget within $100. I feel that I maximized my budget pretty good with that $100, but the one regret I do go back to is not going back and going through and getting more of these 51 Bowmans. I should have just said, hey, if you sell them to me for 50 cents or 75 cents a piece, I'll just take them all. Looking back at that, I should have made that offer and see what he said, but oh well, regrets are there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. A lot of nice loot, I would like to say, from my last card show pickup. Some personal items. Like I said, I know the Funko Pop will probably never be worth 15 bucks or any more than 15 bucks, but as a David Robinson fan, I wanted that in my collection. So, very happy to get all this stuff. I look forward to your comments below. Like I said, I already have this Warren Spahn in my collection, but for $20, I got another one now too. And as always, happy collecting.